Alright, so I'm here with a little bit different video than usual. Mostly I do computer programming tutorials, but today I thought I would explore a little bit of, I guess what you call theology. So I used to be a Christian, I'm not anymore, and I'm going to present to you why. So let's get started. Here's the question. If God could have created the universe in any way that he pleased, why did he create it? So that if Adam and Eve sinned, it would all cause mankind to suffer for thousands of years. Of course, keep in mind that these people are like you and I. They're born into the world without a tree of knowledge of good and evil for them to choose for themselves. So, yeah. So, generally, an immediate response that I get if I ask, because I've asked quite a few Christians this since I came from Christianity. I get a couple. This is probably, I would say, the number one response, and that is it was to preserve freedom of choice. So I want to address that one, even though there's a whole rabbit hole of different ideas and questions that could be explored. I'm not going to do that today. Don't have the time, etc. So this is the reason that I say that's incorrect, because first of all, could have kept the tree of knowledge of evil on earth, or the tree of the knowledge of good and evil on earth, and removed the tree of life, because if you remember in Genesis it says, oh, he didn't want us to have access to the tree of life, so he locked off the garden. Remember, he was the all-powerful God. He could have done this according to the Bible. He also could have made the consequences of sin not pass through genetics, so that there wouldn't be random children dying of genetic diseases, for instance. He could have also created the universe in such a way that a person's actions wouldn't affect someone else. That would be the fairest way to have a universe, so that your own actions are the consequence, or you suffer from the consequences of your own actions and not someone else's actions that happened thousands of years ago, supposedly, according to the Bible's story. So my conclusion is that the Bible is false, and that the reason is the whole premise of the Bible is the fall of man, and therefore a need for salvation from that fall. And so essentially, if you remove the need for salvation because you remove the premise of the fall, it sort of falls apart at that point. And I mean, you could argue the point of the Bible is love, but you'll find that in pretty much every story, and more so in stories that don't have genocide and whatever else that's mixed into the Bible that I, of course, disagree with. So it's that question, as well as the evidence currently out there, scientific evidence of the age of the earth, etc., etc., logical conclusions and proofs that support a non-theistic reality. So a reality that's not centered around the theology of the Bible or any other creator deity theology. So that has convinced me that Christianity is incorrect, and so I am not a Christian. However, I will like to say that I believe spirituality is a really important part of life, and I think that it is independent of a system of beliefs. So in my opinion, the mind is pretty much all we got when it comes to how we experience the world, what makes us us. And so if we have a spiritual experience, which I have spiritual experiences, and of course, when I was a Christian, they were Christianity themed. When I was no longer Christian, they were no longer Christianity themed. Obviously, in my opinion, given that, it seems to be that what you believe causes you to have bias. So, therefore, if I experience spirituality, that makes me think there's something there which is causing something real that is causing that experience. And that may just be chemicals. Consciousness, experiencing the world may just be a core part of physical reality. However, we don't really find evidence for that other than the fact that we are, in fact, conscious. Anyways, I could go on a whole another discussion getting more in depth in this stuff. I'm not going to do that right now. I actually wrote a book with the purpose of kind of combining those two realities. So, I mean, I'll probably put the link in the description or whatever. But I think I'm pretty much at the point where I've talked about the stuff I wanted to talk about in this video, and feel free to comment below, but be nice. Don't go on a rampage. just because you disagree with what I think. So yeah, thank you for watching.